Alright guys, so good day to you, and in this video I'm going to be explaining how to set up SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio on your system. So firstly, you go about going on your browser, and don't forget you need internet connection. You go to your browser and type download SQL Server. So immediately you run that, then you are going to see download SQL Server, not the Management Studio yet. Download SQL Server. Then we have the first link, which is SQL Server download. So you click on that, and it's going to direct you to where you have access to the download. So if you scroll down a little, you're going to see download a free specialized edition. So this is used if you are in a non-production environment, and this is used if you are in a small server application. If you want to use it as a small server application, or you want to use it in web, or you want to use it for production. So in this case, since it is mostly for practicing, then we're going to be going with the developer option. So if you click on download now, and then you notice that the setup is going to be downloaded. So once the setup is downloaded, you open up the folder, and then you double click or you open it. So you can open by right clicking, then say open, or just double click on it. So now you just say yes, and the installation process is going to be starting. So now we have three options for the installation type. We have the basic, we have the custom, we have the download media. So for the basic is basically saying that all of the installation process, the configuration, they have been done. All you have to do is just click on the button, then the default configuration is going to start. Then we have the custom, which is basically saying that do you want to customize how the installation process is going to go. Then we have the download media, which is download the SQL Server setup, but you want to do the installation later. So the SQL Server is going to download, but no installation will happen. But in this case, we are going to be going with the basic installation. So if I click on basic, then I have to agree to the terms and condition from Microsoft. Then when I say accept, the next thing is to specify the location where I want this installation to happen. So in this case, I'm just going to go by the default, the program files, then I'll say install. So don't forget, this thing requires internet connection because it has to download extra packages, and it has to download some extension that is going to be used for the installation process. So to save time, because this can actually take time depending on your network connection and your system. So immediately after the installation is done, then the next thing that you're going to be seeing is this. It's going to tell you that the installation has completed successfully, and the next thing you're going to be required to do is install SSMS. The SSMS is the IDE. So basically, the SQL Server is just like the hosting service where everything you are doing is going to be hosted, but you need where you're going to be writing the SQL language itself. So this is where we are now going to install SSMS. So immediately after the installation of SQL Server, you can just directly, it's going to bring it to you to install SSMS, or you can still go ahead and say install SSMS. Just go and say install or download SSMS. Download SSMS. So if you click on that, then you're going to see the first link there. Click on it, which is the download SQL Server Management Studio. Then you're going to see download SSMS. So when you click on it, and then you're going to see the link for you to download. So click on download SQL Server Management Studio, and the next thing you have there is to wait for the download process. So immediately you are done with the downloading, so the next thing you are going to do is to install, and you're going to go with the other process that we just did. So you just after installing, then after downloading, then you just install. Then after the installation, you come to your search. After the installation is successful, you come to the search to search for the file if it is installed, then type SQL. So when you type SQL, then you're going to see the SQL Server Management Studio that you downloaded. So this particular one is the one we're going to be using. So the SQL Server has been installed. You don't have to worry about that. You are only worried about the SQL Server Management Studio. So when that is done, then you open the file. So the SQL Server Management Studio is loading up, and don't forget, this also depends on your system, if it has the capability to run SQL Server itself or SQL Server Management Studio. So now I have the interface. So the first thing that is going to ask me is to connect to SQL Server. Don't forget, this particular one is the server, the management studio, where we are going to be writing SQL, but there is need for us to connect to the SQL Server that we downloaded the first place. So there we have several options that we're going to be going with. So basically for this one, we are still going to maintain the database engine, and the next thing that is going to ask us is the server name. So for the server name, you can get it from your username, excluding the username itself. So the server name is the desktop, whatever name that is in your username. We have the desktop in my own case and all of this. So you don't have to copy anything that comes after the slash. Or you can come to your this PC if you want to get. So you come to this PC, right click on this PC and say properties. So when you click on the properties, then it's going to show you your device name. Your device name is your server name. So you can copy that, Control C, then go back to the SQL Server, then you paste it here. Then when you are done, the encryption, which is the connection security, by default is mostly in mandatory, and when you run it with the mandatory, in most cases it may actually not work and throw you error, because we have certificate issue there. So you can make the certification optional instead of mandatory. Mandatory means compulsory, you have to provide. So when you are using mandatory, then that means you have to provide the host name for the certificate. So in this case, we are going to be going with optional, then say connect, and boom, my SQL has connected to SQL Server. So the next thing I'm going to go is say new query. So when you say new query, then a new environment is going to come up where you can start typing your SQL queries. And that is it. So if you have any other question, you can drop it in the comment section so that we can see how we can figure out some other problems that you can encounter when installing or downloading SQL Server. Thank you, and see you in my next video.